So last night we had a little discussion on goldbacks with Silver State Stacker. We had Vegas Stacker, Liberty Bleeds, and Blue Collar as the hosts, and then we had B Taylor was our guest, and then we had Silver State Stacker in to talk about these babies. This didn't happen till the last 20 minutes. It was a 2 hour plus show. I know that's kind of tough to stick in there with, but you never know what you're going to miss if you don't. So, do you want to explain the goldbacks to us, Mr. Silver State Stacker?
Man, what do you want to know about the goldbacks? I love them, bro. I'm sold on the goldbacks. I
Explain
bank.
to us, how does the exchange rate work?
What do you mean by the exchange rate? So,
Like, in other words, you go into a store, you're not going to be like, oh, I got a one. What does a one equate to in dollars if you try to spend it?
so if you try, okay, so there's the rate that you would get it from the exchange, and there's like the rate that you would use if you were to actually spend it. So right now, if you were to go to UPMA, you could pick them up for $5.72 for one goldback. So that would be, just a single goldback. I don't think I have any out right now. But if you were to go to spend it at the store, it would be the exchange or the actual purchase price, or the usable rate would be $5.92. So you get a little bit of a discount if you get it from UPMA. And then when you go to use it, the actual exchange rate would be $5.92 today. So it's about a 20-cent difference, which is actually pretty cool because you're getting a 20-cent discount on basically on every goldback. And that's not a whole lot, but it's kind of built-in savings, But to
So,
be honest with you, here in Nevada, I mean, there are some places. I mean, honestly, I haven't really walked into a store to use any, but the power of it is in the debit card. So I bank. It's like banking with Wells Fargo. I put I work, I go deposit my check into the bank, and then I use my debit card. Most of us are using our debit card to go do purchases online or whatever. Well, I can use that same debit card just like a bank, but I'm saving in gold. So, obviously gold's down a little bit today. It was down last week, bumped up a little bit over um, uh, 2,900 an ounce, and now we're kind of down a little bit. So it does move with that same gold, the gold spot price. But the biggest thing is that your money's not getting eat away by that 2%. Actually, it's 3%. If you go back and look at 2024, 3%, was our inflation rate. So, and some are saying that we're finding out that it's even worse, worse than that. So, man, it's different than stacking, say, gold bars, man. All these stackers, they're all like, oh, I just rather get a 10th ounce or this. Yeah, if you're holding onto it forever, but these things are made to be spent. And
Right.
when you spend them, it's literally 1 to 1. It's like if I put $5.92, well, it'd be $5.92 on my debit card, then I'm going to go and spend $5.92. It's not like I'm losing money on it. So yeah, there's an initial premium. I mean, yeah. So this $5 gold back here, the actual gold content in here is half the amount of what you're paying for it. So that's the premium that people see, but it's kind of the same thing, bro. They say it takes 5 cents to make a dollar bill, but yet we give 100 pennies to get that dollar bill. So there's a premium even built in that. We're just so used to it that we don't even bat an eye about it. The whole Fed system is a joke, bro, and we've all been, manipulated and stuck on it for so long that we just don't realize it. So I'm spending them, I'm using them. These right here are for
That's
collection.
cool.
These are my collection right here. I got these, I collect these, but on a day-to-day basis, and I'm not doing every transaction in goldbacks. So if you maintain $1,000 minimum balance on your UPMA account, then there's no fees on the debit card. I mean, what's your bank charging you? If you don't maintain a minimum balance or if you don't do a certain amount of deposit. I know Wells Fargo hits me up with fees.
yeah.
So it's kind of the same thing, man. It's kind of the same thing.
Well,
So
I
it's
got to be
all.
honest. I think the goldback people have to do a better job at explaining all that, what you just said, because honestly, I thought if you're paying six times face to buy it, like you go to a coin show, right? I think it was 6 times face for the Florida Goldbacks, right?
Waste. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then you look at the gold content, and it's like half that, like you said. So I just assumed that when you went to spend it, you would get spot price of gold.
It's currency, man. You got to think currency and not stacking. If you're going to stack, you're going to stack gold bars. You're going to, stack bullion, those types of things. This is currency, so you got to think like currency. And man, I mean, I'm transferring to my debit card. It's 1-to-1, man. It's just 1-to-1. So I agree with you. They need to do a better job. Nobody's really talking about it. And let me tell you, the coin shop dealers, they don't know what to do with these. They don't know what to do with these because there's no money to be made on these. So yeah, they got to charge a markup above the cost so that they can make some money off of it. But it's the
Right.
same thing if you were to go to the coin shop and you were to give him a dollar bill or a $5 bill, and then he's going to turn around and charge $7 for that. Nobody's going to pay for that. You know what I mean? It's a
Right.
1-to-1 thing. It's currency. So
Yeah,
that's
no,
how I see it.
I see what you mean. Like this is spots 32, but you're going to pay 33, 34 for this
Correct.
because the
Correct.
coin shop's got to stay in business.
Correct.
So
Yeah,
there's
you
got
don't.
to be a spread. Yeah.
So you don't go to the coin shop to buy. I mean, I guess if you're looking for a collection piece and maybe you're willing to do it, but still, you go to the bank and you get your money at the bank, and you give 100 pennies, you're gonna get a dollar bill back. UPMA is the bank. The bank is, and UPMA is part of the Goldback system,
All right.
right? So
Explain what UPMA is. What does that acronym mean? What is it?
it's the United Precious Metals Association,
Okay.
and so they're affiliated with Alpine Gold. Alpine Gold is the distributor, right? And Goldback is the company. Okay. Now you can either save in Goldbacks, but you can also save in silver with them, and you can also save in gold. Now their bullion is American government issued coinage. So you can save in gold, you can save in silver. The reason why these things are so beneficial is because there's no storage fees for vaulting with them or banking with them. Now I know people out there are going to be like, well, if you don't, and I'm so tired of this, they're like, well, if you don't hold it, then you don't own it. Okay, how many people out there have money in Bitcoin? How many people have money in the bank? We don't walk around with wads of money in our pocket anymore. We walk around with a debit card. So nobody's holding money. Nobody's holding Bitcoin. So that argument is just straight up debunked. So if you save in Goldbacks and you vault with them, there are no vaulting fees. It's amazing. They've got an amazing system set up.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean it does
Right.
sound. You make it sound a lot better than they do. They should hire you.
Bro, I've been doing it now for so I got into the Goldbacks, just kind of like collecting these things. I want to say probably June or July of last year. If you guys go back and look at my videos back in October, maybe it was even September when I first started, some of my first videos were hitting up the gold ATMs. Waste of money because gold ATM is also charging a premium on top of the exchange rate as well.
Oh,
Now,
heck yeah.
now you can argue that it's justified because think about it. When you go to the ATM machine, if you go to an ATM machine that's outside of your banking network, they're going to charge you. They're probably going to charge you $3, and then your bank's probably going to charge you $3 for not using their system or whatever it is, $1.50 or whatever it is that they charge you. So maybe it's justified to be able to go to an ATM and pull out gold out of a machine, but you can just go to UPMA and bank with them. Now they'll send you your physical, whatever you want, whatever denomination, whatever state issue you want. They'll send it to you. And the other thing, guys, too, is if these things get damaged, if you damage these things ever, like say you keep them in your pocket and they get damaged, you just send them back to UPMA and they'll ship you back a new one. So they're insured, man. It's just a brilliant thing, you
So
know.
That
essentially,
sounds good.
if you can buy them direct from UPMA, that's what you're saying.
Correct. UPMA is the I call it the banking system, the vaulting system, the exchange, I guess, if you will, for Alpine Gold. Alpine Gold sells them. They're just the distributor, but they ship over to UPMA. They're one and the same. If you go and look at their addresses, you got Goldback Inc. on the same cul-de-sac as Alpine Gold, which is right next to the United Precious Metals Association. They're all right there in the same. They're next door to each other.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've been in a coin shop when somebody came in to sell goldbacks, and the coin shop only wanted to give them spot value of the gold that's in the goldback.
Yeah, see, I wouldn't sell goldbacks. I'd go in and I'd be like, "Hey, I've got
Yeah, you want to buy
got a
something?
$25. I got $25. You know, this $5 here is roughly right around $25, a little bit more, and I would take one of these and a couple of ones, and I would buy silver. I'm buying silver with goldbacks. So I wouldn't sell it. I mean, it's
Yeah,
currency, man.
Yeah, but
yeah.
that's the thing though. Are they gonna take it for the value that UPMA puts on it, or are they gonna say, well, no, it's only 1/200th of an ounce of gold?
Well, if they don't do it, then I'll just ship these right to UPMA and I'll buy gold and silver from them. You know what I mean? And listen, I just did a video trying to break down what I was just telling you guys. And of course, I got a whole bunch of people. I got so much hate, man. People out there, oh, stupid, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, you guys just don't understand. And your mind is not open because you're thinking like a stacker and you're not thinking like an economist. Now, I got so many people. I got a guy from Florida. I got a guy from Florida right now, be blue collar, that straight up said, I go and I pay with gold. I purchase gas in Florida with goldbacks. I got a
Really?
company in Texas who says we accept goldbacks for any purchases, and he says we also accept 90% silver. He said we'll accept silver
Ooh,
for purchases. So I think as time goes on, maybe people will start to see the value of these things. But man, it's currency, bro.
So Vegas Stacker says he used them at a coin shop, and they looked up the value on the Goldback website. Is that the right thing to do?
Yeah, so they actually have, there's actually an app, and the guy in Texas told me the same because somebody asked him the same thing. There's actually an app, it's a Goldback Inc. app, which shows you the actual exchange rate. And basically, what would happen is, let's say, so this one Goldback right here, this Goldback right here would be $5.92. So let's say that I went and purchased something, and my total in the amount of purchase after tax and all that garbage was, say, $5.50. Well, you would pay them one goldback, and then they would give you change back in just regular fiat currency. They'd give you the difference back. And this is basically like a cash register. You type in the amount of the purchase, it'd tell you how many goldbacks, and then it would tell you, how much change is due. And that's why I think they're coming out with these smaller denominations like the half gold back, because it will get you closer to that, to that total. So I think they're probably maybe even be coming out with some even more fractional stuff than the half gold back. I don't know. Maybe you would just, I don't know, maybe you pay the difference in just fiat or whatever, but that's basically what it is. You use these to get the bulk of your purchase. They either pay you back in fiat change, or if you have a couple of cents over, you just give them, the extra in fiat change.
Gotcha. So you mentioned that $5.92, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does that value change as the price of gold goes up and down?
Let me tell you, back in June of 2024, when I was getting these things, now I was getting the physical ones here. I was paying less than $5 for these things. So absolutely 100%. They absolutely track the spot price of gold.
So like you might wake up tomorrow and those might be worth $6.12.
Or they could be just a little bit less. Gold's down right now a little bit, so they may be even a little bit
Yeah.
less. But you can
yeah,
always track it. You know what I mean? You can always track it.
Right. So the thing about like what confuses people is a $5 bill is always a $5 bill, right? Now it doesn't always buy the same amount of stuff because the price goes up.
Inflation, right?
Inflation
Inflation
drives
is
the
that.
price of eggs up. But if inflation also drives the price of goldbacks up, then they're keeping pace with eggs. So
Correct.
you know what I mean? Your money is actually keeping pace with inflation,
yeah.
right?
If you go back and look at that, I replied to your post and I tried to break it down. I tried to break it down the best that I could. So you asked me about $100. Okay. So
Yeah.
listen, if I saved $100 in goldbacks and I never spent the goldbacks, okay, you got to factor in 3% inflation. So right there, that has gotten me. So if I did nothing for a year, it would take $103 to buy that same gold back a year from now. Now you factor in that gold actually went up in value in 2024, 41.25%. So that's another $41. So we're at $44 now. If I saved in one gold back for a year, that $100, let's say it was one gold back, it would be if I saved it in fiat currency, that would be, what is that, $97 worth of purchase power after that year. Whereas the gold back would have gone up and I would have had 140 $144 because it's 41%. So I'd have $144 in purchase power. That's just over the last year. That's
Right.
over the last year.
Well, to be fair, though, there have been years where gold has gone down. And, so that's the thing. I think that's the thing that freaks people out. It's not like back in the old days, gold was pegged at $20 an ounce. And for 100 years, it was $20 an ounce. That's why we didn't have inflation in the 1800s, aside from the war years and stuff like that. But
it's a very
for the
valid
most
point.
part, gold is what stabilized our economy.
That's a very valid point. It's not without its risk. I will tell you that if you track since its inception, the gold back, there have been months where it has dipped a little bit, but over the long haul, it's just been pretty much, going straight up north, man. I mean, it's always gone up in value, just as similar as gold has, man. I mean, it has.
Yeah. Well, I think gold's going to continue to go up because I think inflation is here to stay. Trump is going to do his best to try and stop it, but I believe the toothpaste is out of the tube.
Let me tell you something, man. You know that my profession is in real estate, and I kind of know your background too. My mentor, who I've been with for almost a decade now, I have never heard, and mind you, my mentor is he's the head of the LVR Trends Committee. That means every month he works with the board, he works with legislators, and every month he basically educates. We've got about 12,000 licensed agents here in Las Vegas. And every month he tells everybody kind of what the market is going to look like. He's kind of educating people. And I'm very lucky and very fortunate to get to work with him and to mentor with him. And I mentioned to him last week, I said, hey, man, interest rates are headed down to 6.5%. That's fantastic. We got these buyers that are on the edge. This is going to bring buyers out. Like, wait till we hit, the low sixes. It's going to be madness. And he said, not this time. And I looked at him, I'm like, what do you mean? Interest rates go down, that causes demand to go up. Home prices are going to go up. Like, what are you talking about? He said, not this time. And I said, explain this to me. He said, because what's coming out with the economic data is that the last administration was fudging the numbers. The jobs data is not as low as what they had said it was. And the inflation is not as low as they said it was. And he says, this will be the first time that home prices go down. Bro, I've never heard him say that before. Even through COVID, I was like, we're done. This is all over. He's like, no, home prices are going to go up. Home prices are going to go up. It's the first time I've ever heard him say that.
Yeah. Well, it's we all knew that they were fudging the numbers because we know what things were costing. We know insurance has doubled or sometimes tripled. Down here in Florida, my home insurance tripled in the last 3 years.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, no, it's bad, dude. And the cost of everything. Look at the cost of used cars. It's all right. That's come back a little bit, but yeah, inflation was way worse than what they told us it was. And we knew that. We knew that as consumers, but there's a lot of people out there that just believe whatever the government tells them. They line up for it.
Yeah, well, we're gonna pay the price for it now because it's all the data's coming out, and it's all gonna look at the stock market. Look at Bitcoin. I'm not a Bitcoin hater. I have Bitcoin. Okay, I've got XRP. I've got that stuff. The dollar, man. It's all gonna get it's all coming home to roost. You know,
Yeah.
there's going to be and the president said it. He said there's going to be a little bit of pain before it gets better.
Yeah, honestly, I think he should have
Thank
been
you, Silver
preaching
State
that
Stacker,
from
for
the
wrapping
day
up
he
the
won the
show with us
election
last night.
till the day he got inaugurated. And he should have just been like, hey, the damage is done. I'm going to do what I can do, but we're going to suffer a little bit. You know, I mean, he's got to tell the truth. He really does.
Transparency is the best policy in all cases, always.
Absolutely. Yep. That happened at around the 2 hour mark. And I know, listen, man, it's tough to stick it out for 2 hours. Even as a host, it's rough. But you never know what you're going to miss on Monday Night Metals. Please hang out with us next Monday. Average Joe out.